Good evening.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Salamat.
Evening
Tinetesting ko
po.
lang kung gumagana. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening.
Hi, sir. Good evening po.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good. Good evening. So, welcome to our first formal webinar for the introduction to e-commerce course presented by the University of the Philippines, Open University. And in this video, I'll be tackling business 101 basically, and tackling some or most of the topics stated on our module. So hopefully in this 1 hour of discussion, we can learn more about business in general and how e-commerce fits to that business concepts. All right. So without further ado, I will be open up the slides. Check ko lang kung gumagana yung slides. Okay. Okay, so we're on webinar number 1. We had the webinar last week, but that's just for quick orientation and some of the reminders that you need to know to complete the course. So for tonight, we'll be discussing briefly how we define business, how the business works in a business model concept, and how do we test that business model so that we can become detectives as entrepreneurs, not just fortune tellers. So if you have questions, feel free to butt in anytime. Don't worry about interrupting me. So any question would be very welcome. So first, let's define business in a super layman definition. There's a lot of definition of business in numerous books, but in our case, let's define this in a super simple analogy. So business is an organization, an entity that offers value to its customers. Simply as that. So they offer value, and in return, they would get a sort of value in return for that, providing that benefit to your customers. And the tool used in providing benefit is your products and services. So what do you get in return? What's the value? That's simply the revenue. So yun yung kita na sinasabi natin. And then what's the value that you're providing? Basically, it's not just the product and services, it's the benefit that it offers to your customers. So that's a business. But an entity becomes a business when the cost to produce that value is lesser than the price. So ibig sabihin, when we offer something through our products and services, the cost to produce those is lesser. So that in the end, when we minus the cost to the price, we get a profit. And a business ultimately strives for profit, for it to grow, to reinvest the profits, and reach more customers. So basically, that's business. When you offer products and services or value to your customers, but the cost to produce is higher, it's can be called a business, but technically it's not. It's a charity, sinasabi nila, because the cost to produce is higher than the price you're selling that 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 product and services. So again, business, simply as that. So you offer value, that value is benefit, you get a value in a form of revenues as a return. That. So I would like to highlight that the primary goal of a business is to offer value, not to get value. So when you offer, you put your customers first rather than the profits, rather than the revenue, because profits, revenues are secondary to what your business is offering. So why would your customers buy from you? That's the question. So basically, customers can just produce their own products and services. But as a business, you have something additional value. So maybe you'll be producing better, you'll be offering better service, maybe you'd be offering convenience. So it's up to you. The total value apart from the products and services is higher when your customers would produce themselves or service themselves. So that's business in a simplest definition. Now, there are three functions of a business. Basically, the one I mentioned a while ago is when you get the value in return from offering your products and services, the value. So that's getting your value. And then when you combine inputs, manpower, and anything related to your products and services, you create value. That's one function. And lastly, you grow. That growth is summed up by your profits. When you get profits, you either reinvest or you get the profits from your labor, from your so you get return from your investment. In the definition, so those two, getting value, creation of value, and growing your business, is basically the definition of the three basic functions of a business. First, getting value is the simplest definition of marketing. You get value from your customers, and that's through the revenue that you'd get by offering them your products and services. Operations is creation of that value, and that value is derived from the tool you'll be using, which are your products and services. So that's the creation. It's basically operations management. And finance is when you compare the revenues you get plus the cost of operations. The difference would be your profit, and that profit is managed by finance. So basically, these are the three main functions of a business. In the middle, this one, yung parang triangle, that's a more advanced cross between the three major functions, which can be summarized by strategy. How can you sell in relation to your competitors, as well as the preferences, needs, and wants of your target market? So this one, yung triangle sa gitna, that's strategy. So strategy, basically, you have a way to compete in relation to your competitors and matching everything up in terms of your marketing or you're getting value, your operations, the creation of value, and how you would grow your business, how can you be viable. Now, marketing, operations, and finance, we have the quick definition, but the more deeper understanding of the three functions is answering three major obstacles in a business, especially if you're starting one. You need to address these three hurdles. So for marketing, it answers the question, is your product and services are your products and services desirable by your target market? Gusto ba nila yung ating products and service? Second, in operations management, is it feasible? Can you do it? Can you do or can you create the product or service you're planning to do? For established business, can you produce better in relation to your competitors? And on the finance side, it's about viability. Can we see sustainable profits in the long run so that we can grow our business in an ongoing concern? So that's the three hurdles in relation to the major functions of a business. Now, especially if you're starting a business, you always start with desirability. That's why in the course, the business idea is the first part of our activities, because we need to hit the desirability obstacle head on, because we want to offer matching benefits of our products and services to the needs and wants of our customers. Without that, your business won't work. And if you can't hit the desirability for your business, you would encounter market risks. So ano yung market risk? This is basically selling something that no one wants. I had many experiences of market risk wherein I planned so long, gawa ka ng mahabang business plan, marketing plan, so on and so forth. You do it yourself for a span of 1 to 3 months, doing the thick document, and then when you implement, when you hit the ground running and you talk to the first customer, you would learn that hindi pala yun yung gusto nila. So the effort, the cost, sayang. So this is the first hurdle for many businesses, and many businesses fail to complete this part. They think that their idea will work, but the assumptions of that idea is not validated. Ibig sabihin, we thought of something pero hindi natin kinonsider. Gusto ba talaga ng market to? In starting a business, what you think is always different from what your customers think. That's why that's the use of market research. You want to bridge those two, your biases, your personal experiences, and the needs and wants of your customers. You want to bridge those gaps so that you would minimize market risk. Ayaw mo naman magtinda ng something na walang bibili, di ba? Sayang effort, sayang yung budget. There are many tools to determine desirability for products and services. It doesn't mean when you start a business, you would put all your budget instantly and on your business agad-agad. You there are many tools to determine the desirability of your products and services, and is the value uh, you're offering is somehow your customers are willing to pay for that value. So that's the first hurdle. Feasible, mostly it's about, do you have the capability? If you don't have the capability, do you have the budget to spend? Ito medyo ano siya, reality. Um, every entrepreneur don't have the skills to do everything. And the good thing is, if you have budget to spend, you can get services of experts that can help you, or you can hire companies or someone to help you on certain aspects that you don't have expertise. But for the typical Filipino who doesn't have so much budget to spend, feasibility should always be considered when starting a business. You should know what expected costs you would incur, uh, and then how can you sustain your business, because in the middle of execution, especially kapag nag-uumpisa, first 3 to 6 months, don't expect to have high revenues. Always your cost, your monthly operating cost, variable cost, and the total cost in operating 1 month of business usually is higher than the revenue you'd get. So can you sustain that? So that's the question. And how can you maintain the level of quality of your products and services? That's feasibility. And viability is, how can you manage your finances, basically. Um, are your products priced sustainably in terms of the cost, and how it fare with the market in terms of you offering the price in relation to your competitors, and how well can you adapt to the changes in the market. Meron ako mga experience on viability, which is a hard lesson, wherein you started an online business, but you don't consider the competition. They can easily, because they have the experience, they have the budget, they can easily decrease the price or create discounts to address your competition or your offer. So how well can you adapt to that? So in my experience, when we do budget for new businesses, we usually keep 3 to 6 months budget, as if we won't have revenues for the next 6 months, so that I am sure we can weather the first few months of not doing well in business. Because when you start a business, on the first few months, it's full learning mode ka lang. You need to know how well you would perform, how well your customers would receive your products or services, and how well can you adapt so that you can hit the good recipe for your business model. So I mentioned the desirability. It's about matching the needs and wants of your customers to the benefit of your products and services. Now, in our modules, we identified 4 pillars of e-commerce. So in the business, e-commerce generally is, at the end of the day, still a business with uh, special processes in their operations, and the prominent pillars of e-commerce is in the operation side. So when I mention operation side, do you have an e-commerce store that can sell online without you having that physical contact? That's number one. Second, can you collect payments? So now it's fairly okay, or there are many options now as compared years ago. We have bank transfers, mobile bank transfers, and then we have the Philippine version of the PayPal now, which is free. But there are sophisticated ones. And then third, logistics. So when you do physical, when you sell physical items on your e-commerce business, before that, let me just clarify. When I mention e-commerce, e-commerce in the definition of our e-commerce law is a transaction, any transaction done electronically. So it doesn't limit our definition. It doesn't limit, in our case, that e-commerce is just selling of physical items. So we don't limit our e-commerce definition on that. So when I mention e-commerce, it's any business done electronically. So going back sa logistics, you have this major pillar if you are selling physical items. This is one of the hardest part in doing e-commerce, especially if you're just a small scale e-commerce business selling maybe food items. You'd be sending a few items in a day. This is just a simple task. But if you are offering, like, say, a supermarket and you are sending items online, this would be so much complicated. And this is something, this is a full concept altogether, logistics, the full supply chain from the procurement, your packaging, and then your inventory, ordering system, and then you're sending out or downstream logistics. Medyo mahabang topic siya. But in our case, this is applicable only for e-commerce stores selling physical items. If you're selling maybe ebooks, logistics is not applicable to you. Your logistics would become data management, and that could form part of your e-commerce store. So logistics is more for the physical e-commerce. On our modules, we mentioned content, mentioned marketing as one of the pillars, but marketing is a broad concept altogether that would encompass or creep into the operation side. In the operations management, the component of digital marketing is your content production, because you're selling something online with that physical interaction. The way you do content is critical. The way you produce pictures for your products, your videos, your descriptions, and anything that would represent your product and services online. So that's content. The content word has an asterisk because it is the connection to your digital marketing content. It is inevitable for an online business to have a content process or content production process. So that would separate the typical business to a good e-commerce business, your content production. And then on the marketing side, we have the content with us, and that's the representation of our products and services. Can we use that as a representation to provide value to our customers. So basically, value is the portrayal of your products and services in the context of the needs and wants of your customers. So that's value. And second, it's about targeting the correct market for our products and services. This is part of the desirability hurdle that we need to address, because when you start a business, usually nanguhula lang tayo. We have a hunch kung sino ang ating target market. So meron lang tayong gut feel kung sino yung bibili ng products natin. Dati, my experience is that we target everyone. And then bahala na si Batman kung sino yung bumili. Okay. But as I experienced executing many businesses, small scale nga lang, it's better to target a small set of or a subset of the market, which we sometimes call the niche market. This is a small group that would highly engage with your content, and then you can easily persuade them to buy from you. So it matters that you select, segment, and target the market which has the highest probability of buying from you. So since ako, guilty rin ako dito, minsan nanguhula lang tayo ng target market based from our past experiences and nakikita natin sa environment. We can innovate and we can learn about our market as we test our business model. So that's a good thing. But it is critical identifying market in addressing the desirability hurdle. And lastly, it's about relationships. Marketing is about relationships. Why relationships? Sabihin natin, marketing is about 4 P's, di ba? Price, product, place, promotion. We have basically the place, that's our e-commerce store. We have the price, that's the value. So the final part of the value is a representation of that value, that's the price. And then we have the products, place, price, and lastly, the promotions. Promotions in a more sustainable way to do marketing is about relationships. You forge relationships with your customers so that your customer lifetime value would increase. So ano yung customer lifetime value? Ano ang total revenue na makukuha mo sa isang customer at a span of a certain period? Let's say for a year. So it matters, relationship matters when you define customer lifetime value, because you would strive to have repeat purchases. So it doesn't, there are business models that would work, yung transactional sales. So palitan lang, walang any relationship involved. But if you offer value and make them feel good, you can forge a relationship so that top of mind, kung may kailangan sila na related sa business nyo, they would think on the top of their mind, your business. The first choice would be you. So you forge that relationship. This is a concept altogether in branding, wherein all the value you portray, the market you target, and the experience you bring forge a good experience, and that good experience create a perception in the minds of your consumers na positive, hopefully, and that perception would create sort of a memory, and that memory would be attached to you. And as you continue building on that positive experiences, the perception could lead to a monetary value. So that is the definition of brand equity. So merong value sa pangalan nyo. And that is built through relationships and providing numerous positive experiences, creating yun nga, positive na perception. So that's promotion. And in digital marketing, mostly, you don't want to just put an ad about magtitinda ka lang. So it's like diretso, meron na agad ad, bumili ka nito. Sino bang gusto na first time mo ma-meet, titindahan ka na agad? I-compare natin sa physical. So, naglalakad ka sa kalsada, meron kumulbit sa'yo, bili ka na. Most of the time, di ka bibili, di ba? So, you need to, kailangan mo na magpakilala, kailangan mong pakita kung ano yung, sino ka, how you would help them, and at the end, you would forge a relationship, and hopefully, they would return the favor and buy from you. So that's, I think, a better way to do marketing. And the simplest foundation to do that is look marketing as a way to build relationships. So yan, we will tackle that in the next few discussions. Branding, digital marketing, and how we can build that positive relationship. Now, so that's basically business and how it relates to e-commerce. Now, we discuss about business model, and business model is summarized by the business model canvas. I chose this tool because I heavily use this one, especially in strategic management affairs. So what's the business model canvas? It's a one-pager template that summarizes the key elements of any business. So if we superimpose our definition of a business that needs to address the feasibility, desirability, and viability, makikita natin that desirability is on the right side. And that right side is composed of the elements you need to build to create a good marketing plan. So what are the ingredients? So first, value proposition. What is the benefit you're offering to your customers? So that's value proposition. And that benefit comes from the products and services you're selling. And then, how do you reach out to your, how do you send the benefit or the products and services? And that is through the channels. That's basically your e-commerce store. And then on the rightmost part is the customer segment. Who are your target market? And the last part, to connect your value to your target market, we have the customer relationships. How do you want to be known for? How can you create a positive brand? Is it just a transactional sale, self-service e-commerce na click lang sila, makakabili na? Or do you want to talk to them personally? Or do you want to provide content so that they would learn more about the industry, the topic about your business? How can you help them? So that's basically how to build relationships. So that's the desirability. If you complete the value proposition, customer segments, and the channels and relationships, that's basically addressing the desirability hurdle of any business. On the left side, it's feasibility. So in the value proposition, the tool to deliver the benefit is your product and services. Now, what are the key activities and key resource or key activities that you should be good at to offer the best product and services? And what are the key resource you need to be mindful of so that you can deliver? So if you're a manufacturing company, so key resource could be your procurement, buying the best quality raw materials. So if you're into food, key resource could be the ingredients itself. The key activities is the cooking part. So you have a unique set of skills there. And then key partners. Any business needs partners. Not necessarily partners within the business structure, yung partnership, sole proprietorship, saka corporation. Hindi ganun. Partners that would help you address the parts wherein you don't have expertise, or at least the partners that you need to know to get the best resources. Yan. Or help you in the activities. So let's say example natin, restaurant, online restaurant, for example. Mga cloud kitchen, for example. Your key resource could be special ingredients. And that special ingredients comes from selected partners wherein you have contract, or at least meron kayong agreement that you can buy from them at specific points in time. That's key partners. Key partners, key activities, key resource have this keyword, key, at the start of these elements. Key because every business, pare-pareho lang naman siya ng ginagawa in terms of activities, resource, partnership. But you need to select kung anong activities ipaprioritize mo para maging best ka doon sa bagay na yun. Anong resource kailangan mong bantayan para makapag-deliver. Usually, ito yung part ng mga cost of goods sold. Yan. For our value proposition. And then key partners, sino dapat yung ka-network mo to provide that key resource and activities. Usually, partners, activities, and resources form part of your competitive advantage. What is competitive advantage? What makes you unique in relation to your competitors? So, again, kung kanyari kanina, cloud kitchen or parang online restaurant, key partners could be meron kang supplier that sa'yo lang nagbebenta ng ingredients. Let's say super premium ingredient sa inyo lang tinitinda. That would be a competitive advantage because kayo lang ang nakakuha doon. Ganun siya. It's about building competitive advantage. But in a simple sense, what activities, key resource, and partners you should prioritize in relation to the other activities, resource, and partners you'd be using for your business. And at the lower part, the viability, it's about how do you collect revenues. So what are the revenue streams? How would you collect? And the cost structure. So revenue streams, it could be simple transactional sale, so revenue, palitan. It could be subscription, revenue stream. There could be, if you're into software, mga freemium software, advertising, maraming way to do revenue streams. And the good thing is, you can have multiple revenue streams. But in a start, you need to be good at one. Then the cost structure, what major cost you need to be mindful of so that you can have the highest profit possible. So this is about efficiency in terms of, since nag-prioritize ka ng activities and key resources, how would you manage that? And that cost structure can be about the major cost expenses in your income statement, or a way to manage those. Simple lang naman siya. You just need to enumerate if you don't have ways to do optimization of your cost structure. And then revenue streams, how do you collect? Simple revenues ba collection, or there are different revenue models na you're using, like subscription and all. So basically, the 9 building blocks form part of our business. And we need to see that a business, kaya bilog-bilog yung ginamit ko dyan, feasibility, desirability, and viability. When you change, let's say, a customer segment. So maybe gumawa na kayo ng business model. You change your customer segment. you need to follow or adjust everything, the other building blocks, to conform to that change in customer segment. Because when you look at a business, it's not a linear thing. Para siyang it's like a system of gears. Let's say makina, di ba? May mga gears gumagalaw. When you move one gear, the other gears connected to the one you move would also move. And by doing so, you need to adjust everything. So look, a business should be looked as a system, not just an entity that you should change one and you would be successful. No, it's about changing everything or calibrating at least the other parts. So when you look at a business, it's a system, and that system should be based on learning. And when you change something, it's about changing not for the sake of changing. You change a business to address the weaknesses and also improve continuously so that you would perfect this business model. Now, let's zoom in on the desirability. Since this is the first activity for our course. So desirability, it's about zooming in on the value proposition and customer segment. So, customer segment, it's about enumerating the profile of our customers. And on the value proposition, what specific features, elements that we need to highlight or we need to build so that we can address the specific needs and wants of our customer segment. So let's go to this template briefly. So customer segment has or a typical customer, let's say a customer, an example of a customer. So meron kayong example of one customer. They have several jobs to do in their lives. It could be functional, about their family, about their work. It could be social, maybe way to look good, or in between. So we have jobs to do. And then what task do your customers accomplish or your target market want to accomplish? Well, that's basically your customer jobs. And by doing so, your customers have pains in doing that, in doing their jobs. Jobs as not the typical functional job or trabaho na ginagawa sa or trabaho na ginagawa sa mga opisina. Jobs as a parent, job as parent, daughter, brother, typical Filipino citizen, or typical Facebook stalker, any role. And then that role has specific jobs to do. And in doing so, what pains do they encounter and what gains do they want for them to do the job better? So pains and gains, in a simple term, ito yung needs and wants. So pains, ano yung mga kailangan nilang gawin? At ano yung saan sila nahihirapan? Yung gains, ano yung kailangan nilang gawin? At ano yung magpapagaling pa sa kanila sa paggampan ng trabaho na yun? Let's say your target market is our mothers. So since your target market is generally mothers, new mothers, yan. Yung first child, may one child mother, yan. So their customer jobs, if you're into maybe ano bang business ang pang mothers? Example natin, maybe meron kayong unique diaper. Sample lang. Diaper. So the target market you want to pursue are first-time moms. Yan. Stock their customer jobs, magpalit ng diaper. Yan. Magbumili ng diaper or anything related sa diaper and adjacent jobs around diaper. So maybe magpatahan ng anak, anything na ma-identify nyo that you would think is relevant to the business you're thinking of. So you enumerate that. Let's say, pagpapalit ng diaper, yun yung customer job. Among all the jobs you identified. So ang paints, pagpapalit ng diaper, paints could be natatanggal yung sticker, ano yung pangkabit. Yan. Or mabilis mapuno. Yan. Yun yung paints. Yung gains could be, sana maganda kung may glow in the dark. Ganyan. Or mga added features. Or added, gusto mong makita sa diaper. Yan. Glow in the dark, for example. Or tumutunog, kunyari. Yan. Mga ganun. Sa paints, ano yung nababad trip, yung first time mo, maybe madaling mapuno or nasisira agad or hindi madikit yung pandikit. Ganun. So yun, you can create a profile of your customer segment. Now, since you're offering a diaper business or a diaper in your business, you identify the product na. How well can you adapt or how well can you match the specific gains and pains? Now, you can create pain relievers. So, kunyari, yun nga, mabilis mawala yung dikit dun sa pandikit ng diaper. A pain reliever could be may innovation ka on the pandikit. Kunyari, may Velcro, sample. Velcro sa pain reliever. Sa game creators, you identify that your customers or the first time mom would want a glow in the dark diaper. So the game creator, you may want to pursue a glow in the dark color or a feature. And then you will incorporate that on your product and services. By doing so, if you created that, yung sample natin, you would forge a product to market fit. Ibig sabihin, the products or services you're selling matches the needs and wants or basically the profile of your target market. Question, how can you create this one? How can you create a good picture of your customer segment? Ito, medyo mahirap, madaling sagutin, pero ang hirap gawin. Kahit ako, medyo mahirap, especially if you don't have the time and the budget. You need to talk to your target market. You need to do customer development interviews to discover what things they want to accomplish and ano yung kinakainisan nila at gusto nilang makita. So that's basically a manual way to do things. When you talk to many individuals that matches your target market, you would be surprised na kung ano yung inisip mo before, hindi nagmamatch sa iniisip ng target market mo. This is 100% proven on my part based on experience. Kung ano yung inisip mo initially, usually it doesn't match what your customers would tell you. May similarity, but may subtle changes or differences that would be crucial in developing products and services. So ang tanong naman, what if, kasi maraming students before, may products and services na sila. So basically, they cannot change the features that would form part of the gain creators and pain relievers. So when you talk to your customer segment, you would have a picture of their needs and wants. And from that, you can create marketing messages that would match to the existing features or offerings ng products and services mo. So in that case, you can create a better perception, better experience so that mas mapopersuade mo silang bumili. So that's one way to look at it for cases wherein yung product and services mo gawa na. Wala ka na magagawa kasi yun na yun lang yung kumaga bumili ka lang somewhere and you'll be reselling that without changing anything. So you need to have good marketing messages to build relationships, to build positive perception, and basically having higher chances na bibili sila sa'yo. Yeah. This one is part of our third activity for the course. Now, we test the business model. Why do we need to test? Because when we created the business model here, what we've listed here are guesses, basically. Unless we are so much experienced in that industry. So, kunyari, you work for a diaper business for 20 years, you basically know the in and outs of that business model. So, that's one of the exceptions. But if you're starting from scratch, what you list on the business model would be guesses, especially in here. So, you need to test the assumptions that when absent, it would make your business model unsuccessful. So, ano-ano yun? Ano ba yung usual assumption? Ang assumption natin, gusto ni customer yung binebenta mo. That's the number one assumption. Let's say, magtatayo ako ng restaurant nearby na, let's say, Mexican food. I know I want Mexican food, but do the customers nearby really want? So, minsan nasiskip natin yung assumption na yun and we assume that it would, or our assumption is that kung ano yung tingin natin, ganun din yung sasabihin ni customer or ganun din yung gagawin niya. But most of the time, it's not the case. So we need to test the assumption. And to test the business model, we need to be mindful of this feedback loop. So what is the feedback loop? It's a way to build learnings about our customer, about our market, and about our business. So basically build experiments, and then we measure results, quantitative results, and we learn from that. Rinse and repeat, we continuously improve our business model as we continue. So the key word here is learning about our customers, learning about the market, and learning how we can improve our business. So a smart entrepreneur, as I mentioned, is a detective rather than a fortune teller. So a smart entrepreneur forms hypotheses. Medyo technical yung term, pero basically, we need to write down our guess in terms of what are our expectations after executing some of the experiments. We build experiment to test our hypothesis, we measure result, and we learn and improve. So, a good analogy. Let's say we're starting up t-shirt business. Yeah, t-shirt business. Let's say, meron kang budget. Let's say 100,000. The traditional way to do business is that for 100,000, you buy shirts, you have them printed, you sell. And then see, after their selling period, how much you would earn. So, kung nabenta mo more than the budget, okay. Pero what if you don't sell? So basically, that's market risk. Hindi mo nabenta. So that would be a sunk cost, and you would decrease your savings 100,000 mo. So what's the smart way to do that same t-shirt business? So I would build first a hypothesis. Hypothesis is that Let's say for the 100,000, I need to sell 200 shirts to be profitable. So yun yung ano ko, yun yung hypothesis. So I build the experiment. One way to do experiments is concept testing. So I would create a digital art about parang poster siya. Yan. Poster about my design, the price, everything about the business and the product. So I would do for a span of, let's say, 1 month. 1 month. I would spend 1,000 a week on Facebook ads, showing that ad, and the call to action is for my customers to pre-order. So ang success criteria ko is 200 pre-orders. I would know I would be successful. So kung naka 200 pre-orders ako, okay. Yeah, well and good. But what if I reached only 50? So the good thing, I just spent for the graphic design. Maybe I hired someone para gumawa nun. So yun lang ginastos ko. Plus yung marketing or Facebook ad budget, 1,000 per week. At least I know this model or that experiment is invalidated or falsified. Now, syempre may nag-pre-order dyan kahit pangilan-ilan. What I would do after, since hindi ko siya itutuloy kasi yun yung aking success criteria. Kung naka 200 akong pre-orders, itutuloy ko, ipaprint ko na yung t-shirt. Since I failed, for example, what I'll do is for the few pre-orders, I would talk to them personally. Siyempre, nakuha mo yung number nila kasi they pre-ordered. You would talk to them and offer something of value for their time. And then you would ask why. What are the good things you saw in that ad that made you click and pre-ordered? So, when you talk to those people, at least alam mo, gusto nila yung product mo, mas madaling kausap yon. Unlike you would talk to a random individual that is part of your target market, but they are not, kumbaga wala silang kaalam-alam about your business. It's more difficult than talking to people who are interested in the product or service you are selling. So talk to those people, tabulate results, and find patterns or build on the strengths and the good things they mentioned. Then do rinse and repeat, do another hypothesis on that same, incorporating the learnings, and you would discover the best version of your business model so that mas madaling execute at medyo hindi ganun risky. Kasi ang assumption mo when you do a business, you go into the world full of uncertainty, and that's market risk, visibility risk. So we need to minimize that. To minimize that, you need to learn more about your target market and how your product and services fit to their needs. So that's basically smart entrepreneur as detectives. So what are the builds on the build, measure, learn feedback loop? So we have customer interviews, simple customer interviews I want to mention. Concept test, the one I mentioned, you do graphics, do a Facebook ad or video, do an ad, check the results. Prototypes, in the t-shirt example, I could create one example. So one shirt na may printouts as if final product na siya, ilalako ko siya and maybe get pre-sale orders. There are other ways to do smart builds to test your assumptions, to test the business model. Pre-selling. There are wizard. Iba technical na kasi, but these are the basic ones. Customer interviews, concept tests, prototypes, search ad, So yung mga nagsa-search sa Google, you can use that as a way. Reviews, you check on the reviews existing. Let's say you're selling shoes, specific type of shoes. You find similar products in Amazon, Lazada, Shopee, and check all the reviews, especially the negative reviews. And you tabulate, find patterns so that you would know the gaps along those product lines. Yan. So we'll be doing this on the third activity for the course. So that's basically our topic for the evening and discussion. Sakto 9 o'clock. 1 hour. So I hope may naintindihan naman po ang ating mga attendees. So ngayon, this would be the perfect time to ask questions. Hopefully, hindi ako mabilis at na-explain ko naman ng maayos. Right? Meron bang mga tanong? Nandyan pa ba ang mga ang ating estudyante? Hello? Parang natulog na yata kayo.
Ito pa po.
Dito po.
Ayan, dyan pa. Hopefully, medyo sana clear. Actually, kung babasahin yung ating modules, ang wala lang doon is the Business 101. I always infuse this concept, especially sa unang part ng discussion. So, kasi e-commerce is a business generally. So, you need to learn foundations to do business, especially sa mga magsisimula pa lang. And for the others who are executing or operating their business, this would make them understand some of the elements. Then, yung business model, that's basically your assignment number 2. And model testing is your assignment number 3. So, on the next discussions, we would be focusing on special elements in the business model and also on the model testing could be for, especially if you'll be implementing concept test in social media and search ads. Yan. Ano tayo? Advertising, digital advertising walkthrough. Sino ba ang nag-digital ads dito? Merong experience? Meron ba?
Ako po.
Ayun. So, buti meron. Meron tayong mapapagtanungan. Baka kasi mali yung sasabihin ko at least. Diba?
Ano siya, sir? Sa FB ads. I run...
FB?
Yes, FB ads. I run Shopify store before.
Conversion ads.
Yeah, conversion ads.
Okay. Yan yung medyo higher level na sa conversion ads na.
I enrolled another course from other e-commerce mentor. And I know you're familiar with Sir Rudolph Perez, right? Sir Rudolph Perez, the owner of the Last Ride. But I did not pursue kasi I started again opening my own company with the Cyberpreneurship shop. Medyo kasi hindi ko lang nagustuhan. I enjoy naman, sir, for the first 3 to 4 weeks. Ayoko po kasi parang type na yung gambling. So, parang hindi ako makatulog na lagi may babantayan, yung ganon. Pero so far, maganda naman po siya if you have money, budget. But I suggest na if newbie ka talaga, tapos nakikita mo lang, online mo, huwag. Kasi sayang yung pera.
Shopify yon, Shopify.
Shopify po.
Shopify?
Yeah, Shopify.
Hindi naman dropshipping.
Dropshipping. May sarili akong
Okay.
So, dropshipping siya. In-explore ko lang yung platform. And ano pa rin naman ako siyang gawin ulit. So, nasa time ko. Kasi maganda din siya. Yun nga lang, kailangan yung preparation and then. So, yun, sir.
Actually, sobrang time consuming. Kung titignan mo, akala mo sobrang simple.
Sobrang
Kasi pag ni-lecture, okay, ang ganda. Pero pag gagawin mo, ang hirap. Hindi, time consuming. Yeah.
pag i-execute po na ang store setup hanggang sa sobrang time consuming talaga. Same with Lazada ads, yung sponsor discovery, activate. So, hindi, depende pa rin kung paano siya tatrabuhin or sa creatives. Hindi lang basta mag-run ng ads. Hindi ganun. So, technical, yung experience. And then, wag mo nang gawin pag hindi sure. Marami ng mga materials online like YouTube, yung may mga experience na tayo. Ganun po experience.
Yung ano doon kasi, kung magta-try ka talaga, gagastos ka talaga na malaki kasi kung wala ka experience. Yung learning curve,
Exactly.
hindi oras, budget din.
Yung experience talaga yung kailangan mo, the learnings. Kasi, for me, na 3 years nang nasa e-com, learnings kasi, mabilis na lang kitain pag alam mo na. Like yung tinakal niya, sir. So, sobrang sa maintindihan. Pero ang dami pa rin parang hindi ko masyadong naintindihan. Yung learnings yun talaga. I think ito lang yung masishare ko. And gusto ko pang matuto. Sobrang ganda po ng course niya. Yung learnings talaga. Not the money, mabilis na lang. Pag alam mo na kung paano siya gawin.
Actually, ako sa Facebook, and then search ads o Google ads. Before, nag-run ako ng mga ganyan, pero tinigil ko na kasi for clients, kasi ang hirap. But yung business namin ng wife ko, meron kaming, yung wife ko kasi dentist, so cosmetic dentist siya. Mga pang beauty queen. So, we tried to do business using just digital marketing. So, kaya lagi akong relationships. Kasi high ticket item din yung service na ino-offer nung ginagawa namin ng digital marketing. Parang numerous videos just to get the exact number. Actually, konti na lang yung napapadpad sa nasa pang-apat na salin na ng video. So, doon kami kumukuha ng customer. Actually, sa walk-in, wala kami walk-in. Puro galing lang sa ads. Ngayon, after a year of doing that, wala na kaming ad. Kasi basically, yung word of mouth from the relationship building, yun na lang yung nagpapatakbo ng business. So, yun na lang yung aming way.
Sorry, sir. So, after a year na nagra-run po kayo ng ads sa gano'ng concept ng business, organic na yung sales mo, I mean.
Yes,
flowing na
organic
siya.
na.
No need to run ads, right? Kasi,
referrals na lang, referrals. From the existing customer base.
Yes. Kasi repeat orders na based sa, kasi kayo lang naman.
Yes.
Ang galing po.
So, parang ang strategy ko nun, para lang, baka interested yung mga ibang participants, ibang students na nandito. Ginawa ko noon, video ad, tapos percentage views, di ba? Meron ganun na yung audience. So from 2-minute ad, 2-minute video, basically buong Metro Manila lang. From there, paliit ng paliit, pero ang heavy siya on una keywords yung sa mga interest, pero related sa beauty queen at mga bags, yung ginamit ko nung before. So, first ad, 1 minute, 2 minutes na video. Generally, walang bahid ng pagtitinda na video. About aesthetic. Ganun lang. About beauty. Yan. And then, when someone watched, a second ad would appear on their news feeds or any feed, Facebook, kung saan man sila nag-access sa Facebook. So after that, 30-second video na may subtle branding na. Pero not really selling. Not really selling. Yung third, kapag umabot sila sa third, nagtitinda na yon. So offering the service. Full price to walang discount. Yan. Kapag usually, ang conversion nun, sa 100 na makakita, swerte na yung isa na mako-convert. Yan. Pero doon sa 99% ng nanood nun na hindi bumili, merong fourth ad. Kasi alam ko kapag napanood nila yung buong selling na video, that's just 15 seconds. Kapag lumabas, pag nabuo nila yung video yun, on the fourth one, meron na akong parang offer that they can't refuse. So usually, 'di ba, pag mga dental clinics, may mga down payment siya, 'di ba? Especially sample braces, 'yan. Merong down payment. Usually around 20 to 30%. On the fourth one, we would drop the down payment na mababa for parang special offer for 2 days. Kapag di nila na-avail, mawawala na yung offer. Usually on the fourth, makukuha namin yung customer. Pero syempre malaki yung item eh. We can do several videos in between. Kasi kapag yung typical mga e-commerce, tinatry lang ng iba, isang ad lang, magtitinda yun agad. So most of the time, it won't work. Sayang yung budget. Sa amin, our objective, magkaroon ng relationship sa end, pasok namin siya dun sa clinic. And when they got their first treatment, we would provide heavy freebies. Hindi freebies yung tawag eh. Parang meron kaming offer din bago sila umalis sa clinic. So ang ano namin, challenge, we would offer many freebies siguro, pwede na sabihin, o giveaways in exchange for in exchange of reviews. Yan. For the business, for the clinic. So reviews on Facebook, reviews on Google, and then at least ma-view nila yung website kasi may website din akong binuo for the business. So from there, nung una, medyo hindi ganun kalaki yung margins because of the added benefit na binibigay namin sa kanila pag alis sa clinic. But as the time progressed, yung build up nung positive reviews, visits sa site, and also yung sa Google reviews, nag-accumulate na siya. Tapos, after nga a year, iniwan na namin yung advertising. Basically, sila na lang yung nagpupunta because nakabuild ka na ng online earned media ang tawag doon. So, sila na mismo yung nagawa. Plus, mayroong word of mouth, PR, and most of all, yung may relationship na. Sila na yung nagre-refer. And minsan, binibigyan ng mga benefit yung mga nagre-refer. Pero most of the time, they would do that. Parang sa tuwa nila. Parang gano'n. So, that's basically, gano'n lang kasimple yung ginawa naming advertising campaign. Actually, yung minimension ni Fatima na conversion, medyo sobrang complicated. Ang hirap i-explain talaga na. Sobrang complicated. Especially putting the codes, the snippets on each of the product, and then i-automate mo siya na magpapakita. Medyo complicated. And ngayon, palitan ng palitang margins, especially sa mga added cost like sa payment, gateway, sa shipping. So kakainin talaga yung margins mo. Medyo mahirap siya. So ako personally, ako tinigil ko na rin yung mga e-commerce ko. Physical items, physical. Mostly more on digital content. Hindi mga vlogs but more on trainings. Yan. trainings, books, and basically knowledge. Para ma-eliminate ko yung logistics part. Tsaka yung complicated digital marketing, yung may mga conversion ads na sobrang complicated. Kasi ang experience ko doon, kahit sobrang galing mo mag-digital ads, mga conversion, physical, e-commerce, laging mas malaki ang budget ng Lazada at saka Shopee sa'yo. Especially kung ititinda mo nandun sa kanila, wala ka. Ang hirap labanan. So, it's going back to the foundation na gaano ba ka-unique yung tinitinda mo. At anong meron ka na wala dun sa Lazada at Shopee. That's why I usually advise targeting a niche market, small subset, and working to build on that. Kasi kung dati kasi naalala ko, tumatagal na yata yung kwento ko. Dati may nag-consult sa akin, kinuha kong consultant, an e-commerce store. Medyo malaki siya. Na meron silang deals with certain brands, pero hindi ganun kaganda yung pricing or distributor price na nakuha nila. So basically, they would compete head-on Lazada, Shopee. Pero their price is higher by, let's say, 1 to 2% higher. Yung iba mahal na nga sa Shopee, Lazada, especially yung mga branded. So, ang suggestion ko sa kanila, iba ng niche o iba ng products na wala doon sa current offering ni Lazada. And honest question, kung tinanong ko sa kanila kung gaano kalaki ang budget, hindi naman ganun kalaki for the marketing to compete head on. So, sa madaling sabi, yun yung advice ko sa kanila, hindi nagustuhan. So, hindi nagtuloy yung aming relationship consulting. So, after a few weeks, nagtanong ako sa kanila kung what happened. Tinry nilang mag-ads just to catch yung attention ng market and to find people na gustong bumili sa kanila. Pero eventually, di nila tinuloy kasi wala rin bumili. Kasi pupunta lang na Lazada at Shopee to find better deals at similar price. So, ganon nangyari. So, anong moral nung story yun? You need to be unique ngayon because of so much selling. Before na nagtuturo ko nito, pag nagbenta ka lang online, kikita ka na. Before, around 2015, first nagturo ako ng e-commerce. Benta ka lang online, pa Instagram ka lang, kikita ka na. Ngayon, because of the pandemic, lahat ng may chance magtinda online, nagtitinda online. So, the competition got more intense. And the challenge now is being unique and being seen among the sea of online sellers. And it goes back to the concept ng business na it's about having a strategy. Dati kasi wala nga kasing nagtitinda online, konti lang. So, swerte ka pag nagtitinda ka, magaling ka. Ngayon kasi, parang lahat nasa online na. And kahit nga walang laptop, basta may cellphone lang, pasok lang sila sa Facebook group ng isang barangay, picture nila yung tinitinda nilang pansit, makakatinda na sila online. But at the end of the day, how can you improve and how can you build on that business na lalaki siya at magtutuloy-tuloy? Kasi yun ang usual na nangyayari ngayon. Sana may nakuha kayo dun sa mga kwento ko.
Una, hindi kita, sir, consultant. Pwede po ba?
Yan. Tignan natin. So yun, sa next webinars natin, we'll be talking about quick explanations of the concept, not so technical one, like kung paano ko in-explain yung business. Kaya siguro na perfect ko na rin paano explain yung business management, 2 SEMs yan sa business school. Pero as you implement, execute your own business, mag-gets nyo yung concept based sa yung mga relationships between the elements lang. Ganun lang kasimple. And then from there, you build on that. Ganun lang. You don't need to memorize the the definitions and the elements. So basically, yun lang. Ganun lang kasimple. Mag-business, madali lang siya. Pero pag execute, mahirap. So babalik ta rin natin dito. From my experience, I will simplify and then you try to execute using the activities. Okay, hopefully may natutunan po tayo ngayong gabi. Ayoko na kunin ng oras ng lahat. It's 9:20 na. So that would be all for tonight. And just few reminders, our assignment, nag-check out from time to time. Wala pa rin nagsasubmit ng business idea, so make sure to complete that until the weekend. And then from there, I would comment pag may nakita akong mag-post doon. And then I would open up the business model canvas activity. So meron tayong template, answer lang, and then we'll discuss. Yun lang kasimple, madali lang yung first and second assignment. The highlight would be the third assignment, which is model testing. So basically, we have our product and services, our business model. We test those out para maintindihan nyo kung bakit ko sinasabi na kung anong nasa isip nyo as the owner of a business, iba siya sa sinasabi ng target market nyo most of the time. So, yun ang third assignment natin. Pero that's weeks ahead pa. So hopefully you learned something from this webinar. And see you again. I'll try to magkaroon ng schedule for next week. But the sure schedule next week meron ulit tayo. Yes. Question. Meron tayong question. Yes.
Question lang with regards dun sa homework. Like, di ba po may mga guideline questions? Lahat po yun ba, like, from number 1 to 4, yung business idea din, lahat ng guidelines sasagutan yon for the homework number 1?
Yes. Yes. I suggest and maybe I would require to answer the 5 questions. Pero this is not the typical answering ng school assignment na search ka ng mga trends online na lagay mo yung numbers doon. Not that technical. You just need to identify in simplest terms sino yung target market mo, bakit yun ang pinili mo, anong problema nila, ano yung ginagawa nila to address the problem, and how would you address using your product and service. Simple answers would do. And we would build on those simple answers as we do the business model and the model testing. Ang important lang dun sa guide question is that you would frame your business idea in a problem setup na ginawa mo yung idea kasi may problem. Hindi ginawa mo yung idea kasi gusto mo lang. Yun lang naman yung gustong gawin ng assignment. So, not so technical. Hindi nyo kailangan magsulat ng pagkahabang essay.
Ano kailangan ng mga data pa masyado, sir?
Ako, hindi ko nagpe-pay attention sa numbers na kinukuha sa Google. Kasi unless yung data sa Google are based from Google searches on specific topic na super related sa'yo, pwede yun. Pero kung yung trends about, ang usual nakikita ko dyan sa mga previous batches is that, kanyari, about health and wellness. Meron trends on mga organic. Search ka ng trends worldwide, gagamitin mo yun. Hindi mo na kailangan lagyan ng numbers yun. Alam na ng lahat na may trends. Pero how can you address specific problem about dun sa trend nga na yun? So, ganun lang siya kasimple. And then we will expound on that dun sa third. Hindi naman kailangan. Tsaka, sumagot lang kayo nung first assignment. Perfect naman. So, yeah. Yun lang yun. You
Sir,
don't need
question
to...
po.
Yes, yes po. Yes, sir.
Paano namin sasubmit dito sa Messenger? We can submit there.
No, on my portal, basta yung core site natin,
Yeah.
on module number 4 yata yun, on
Module
business
number 4.
idea.
Okay.
There is a forum there na yung may deadline August 16, meron doon. Pasok lang kayo doon and post a forum there. Kaya forum siya, basically mag-submit ka lang doon, you would get the perfect score for assignment number 1. Pero ang goal noon, kaya forum siya, I can comment and my comment can be seen by other students, and also other students can offer their comments or points for improvement para interactive at open tayo sa mga question sa mga comments and yun nga, for improvement. Yes. Yes.
Pati yung other questions andun. Let's say may business model na and then target market nandun na. Or I just add it na lang.
Nothing with the business model lang. May guide questions. Ano yung who is your target market? Ano yung problem nila? How do they address the problem ngayon? And what is your product and service or business idea that would address the current problem? Parang gano'n.
Gotcha. Thanks,
so,
boss.
Ganito ka simple. Tingnan natin, laging kasing gano'n din yung tanong sa akin pag mga first few weeks ng course. So for example, magtatayo ka ng restaurant. Kunyari, ang expertise mo kasi, kunyari chef ka, for example. The problem is basically in a barangay or a municipality, there is a need for food. Pero hindi naman simple food lang. Let's say, ang napansin mo sa area, walang Italian food, for example. And you would know that some people, merong upscale market that would want, ang tingin mo, would want Italian food because walang nag-offer. So that's basically a problem. And paano nila ina-address yung problem na yon? Take out sila somewhere across town or magluluto sila. So, if your business is restaurant, Italian style, that's basically the business addressing the need for Italian food within a certain area. Ganun lang simple. And then you can infuse your own take on your expertise. How would you help? How would you address? And offer something unique. And also, ano yung meron sa in-offer mo na wala sa existing offerings na meron sa pagluluto nila or binibilhan nila. So parang ganun lang kasimple. You don't want to be too textbook answer or parang essay type parang ko ano bang tawag doon. Parang mga pang final exam na sagot. Hindi ganun yung inaanap ko. It's a simple alignment between the problem and all. Because yung problem naman, itatanong nyo naman yun sa target market nyo on the third activity. Kung meron ba talaga sila nun. And to validate kung totoo nga yung inyong hunch. Yun lang, ganun lang naman kasimple. Yes, Joanne. Do you have a question?
Good evening po.
Good evening.
Sa mga late enrollee.
Yes.
So, yung regarding lang po sa assignment number 1, business idea po, tama. Pwede po bang existing business siya and then from there, you will create your idea?
Yes.
Pwedeng
I think yung guide questions naman would be applicable for existing business. Especially, at least mas alam nyo na yung target market nyo, ano yung ina-address nyong need sa market at tina-target nyo, ano yung mapapalitan lang kung ano yung ginagawa nila to address the problem. So basically, it's your business and your competitor. So maybe doon lang may iba, pero basically guide questions would be applicable. And you can use your existing business. So the goal is to improve on that and make an online component or maybe branch of your business. Yeah. Pwede. Okay. Do you have other questions? Wala na. So, with that, thank you very much for attending, and I would see you on our course site for reviewing your answers. And hopefully, we have next week session, pero I'm not sure. May training kasi din ako sa other institutions. So, yeah. So, if meron mag-announce naman ako. Pero ang sigurado, next week, we have another one. Okay? So, with that, thank you very much and see you online. Yes. See you online and then see you on our Facebook Messenger group and sa course site. That, thank you very much po. Thank you very much for attending.
Thanks, RM.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.